This is David Tangney, and we're about to play some Outer Wilds. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley. We are a minute away from the reveal of Crash 4. Before we get to that, I want to thank Outer Wilds for that incredible musical performance. Crash is coming right up. Alf, yes, that Alf will be joining us. And we also have Day of the Devs, produced by Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. Look at a ton of interesting, progressive, artistic, independent games across the entire game industry. You'll see first look trailers, brand new footage, and some really interesting games you may not have heard of, but I think you're going to like. Over an hour of content in Day of the Devs. But right now, things are getting started with the reveal and first look at Crash 4. Enjoy it. Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley. Welcome to Summer Game Fest. We've got a great show kicking off this week for you. I'm really excited to be doing yet another week of video game announcements. And one of the things... What is that sound outside?
I've got an extra special package for Geoff. Geo-Fef Keglegs. I'm just messing with you. Jeff Keighley, come on out.
Not this again. I'm in the middle of a live stream right now. This guy always crashing my important shows. I'm going to see what this is, but let me tell you, it better be worth it. Crash, I really don't want the dirt that you have on Cortex.
No. This is the Crash 4 trailer.
For real?
For reals.
Well, it's about time.
Exactly.
Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past. But all it did was give me more time to plan your doom.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
That's right. There's the big news. Crash 4, a brand new Crash game. It is coming this October. And right now I am joined by Paul from Toys for Bob to tell us about the brand new Crash game. Paul, we have been waiting for so long for something new from Crash. Of course, Activision has done some amazing remasters of the Crash trilogy and CTR, but this is a brand new Crash game built from the ground up.
That's right. It's hard to believe, but it's been over 10 years since we've seen an original new entry into the series, so I'm delighted to finally unveil this secret that we've been sitting on for a while. It's the brand new Crash 4, It's About Time. And it's a play on the fact that we've been waiting for so long, but also it's a game that's literally about time.
Yeah, I want to get into it because the trailer is filled with so much information. I mean, you know, playable Neo Cortex, Coco, Crash, but I'm curious, like, what, you know, you guys had worked on, you know, the remasters of Crash, but now to start with a new game, there's, I'm sure, so much trepidation about, like, what's going to be a worthy, you know, follow-on, calling it Crash 4. How did you guys approach this? Like, what kind of game did you want to build?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is we asked ourselves, where did we want to start? And though technically this is the 8th game in this series, all of the fan reception that was coming out of the Insane trilogy, we wanted to go back to the original trilogy and start from that. We're deliberately calling this Crash 4 because we want to key it off of the original trilogy that was developed by Naughty Dog. And that was certainly a high point in the series, both critically and commercially. And so that's where the events are going to key off of. We're starting right at the end of that when Dr. Neocortex, Entropy, and Uka Uka have been banished to this distant planet. And they finally found a way, after many fruitless attempts, they found a way to break out. And in doing so, they've torn this gigantic hole in the universe and exposed the fact that there's a multiverse. So it's going to be up to the Bandicoots, Crash and Coco, to restore that order by reuniting the 4 great quantum masks.
The gameplay style, I think, a lot of people were probably wondering, hey, Crash in 2020, how much of it is, the more linear, classic Crash levels, and of course now, like, people wonder, like, is it an open world Crash game? How are you doing it? Like, tell us about balancing kind of the old style of gameplay, which is certainly not broken. We love it, versus the tendency to do, new styles of gameplay. Based on the trailer, it looks like you're being kind of still faithful to the original style of Crash versus making it some big, 3D open world. But is that correct? Like, how did you approach the actual style of the gameplay?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think what we've heard was that people have found that style of gameplay to be really refreshing to return to. And so we wanted to key off of that. And when we observe some of the other games and platformers and how they've evolved over time, you're totally right. They've gone to a place where they're a little bit more open in nature. And as a consequence, the challenges and things that you interact with are a little bit more sparse and spread out. It encourages exploration, and maybe there's a little bit more focus on collection and combat. But when we think about classic Crash gameplay, it's dense and it's focused, and it's really the streams of hazards and the challenges, the platforming challenges, they come, and there's almost a rhythmic quality to it and how reliable it is. And I know that for me, when I learn a level and I understand the nuance of the timing and the placement of all the different hazards, you can enter into a sort of flow state when you understand that kind of musicality.
Multiple playable characters. How are you doing that? Is it kind of like by level, or how, like we saw Coco and Neo playable in there? How does that work sort of in the scheme of the gameplay?
So Crash and Coco, you're going to be able to choose between them at any point in time, and they share the same moveset. Over the course of the adventure, you're going to encounter some new friends, some familiar faces. And you're right, there's going to be some new playable characters. We're teasing today Dr. Neocortex. He's got a completely different moveset from Crash and Coco. So where the Bandicoots kind of barrel through and they've got the ability to spin and slide and belly slam, Dr. Neocortex is he's a little bit more of a cerebral character. He's a mad scientist, he's got inventions, and he relies on his intellect. So he's got a ray gun that he carries around with him. And that ray gun has the ability to transmogrify hazards and enemies into platforms. And he can choose between changing them into a static solid platform or a bouncy platform that gives him access to higher elevations. So his gameplay and the levels that are built specifically for his moveset is going to be a completely different flavor. It's going to be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more cerebral. Yeah. And I think players are going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful about when to encounter a hazard, whether or not to change it into a platform, and what type of platform they're going to need at that point in the obstacle.
Wow. It seems ambitious that you're adding more elements to it. And then also you mentioned the masks. How do those work?
So the quantum masks, there's 4 of them in this game, and over the course of the adventure, they're scattered across the universe. You're going to have to rescue them from the clutches of certain bosses, both familiar and new. The quantum mask, 2 of them that we're talking about today, is the time mask and the gravity mask. And masks in this franchise, they've got a lot of personality. They've got their own names and their own voices and their own powers. So the time mask, her name is Kapunawa. And when Crash uses Kapunawa, he's got the ability to slow down time to a crawl. So for obstacles that are beyond, just way too fast to interface with at normal speeds, he's going to be able to slow things down and then get past those obstacles. And in addition to that, he'll be able to get past nitro crates, which have traditionally been a one-hit, one-kill type of thing. But with the power of time, he's going to be able to slow things down, trigger that explosive, and then get out just barely before that explosion obliterates everything in its path. The second mask is the gravity mask, and his name is Ika Ika. So when Crash dawns on Ika Ika, he's going to be able to flip the direction of gravity and walk on the top of ceilings, walk upside down underneath platforms to get past impossible obstacles.
I'm really excited to play this, and again, I was playing Crash back when the original PlayStation first came out, and you know, Activision's done a great job with the remasters, but to have a totally new game, I think, is what everyone was hoping for, and you're bringing it to life. So congrats for doing this, and thanks for doing it even from a work from home situation. It's awesome to see, and can't wait to get to play it later this year.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure, and I think it's an exciting time for games, and I'm so glad that we could reintroduce Crash, a new version and a new adventure at this time.
All right, there you have it, Crash 4. We've got Day of the Devs coming up shortly, but right now we are going to introduce you to Summer Game Fest tech correspondent. He is joining us from lockdown, and I'm really excited about this. Please give a warm welcome to Alf. Alf, how is your lockdown going?
You want to talk lockdown? I'll give you lockdown. For the past 30 years, I've spent every day hiding from the United States government. So I've got some stay-at-home gaming tips for Summer Game Fest. Are you ready? Here they are. Tip number 1. Clean off all the fur from your controller every 20 minutes. Because there's nothing worse than getting your analog sticks jammed up with hair. Okay? That's a good one. Tip 2. Don't charge your controller in the microwave. Bad idea. Learn that one the hard way. Tip number 3. Don't play Warzone with E.T. All right? He cheats, he's a sore loser, and he doesn't know how to use airstrikes. Just doesn't understand it. Okay. Tip 4, don't wear pants. Embrace the freedom. And with that, it's time to raid someone's stream.
No, Alf, we've got a whole Day of the Devs thing still to go. We are certainly not done yet.
Oh, I think you've been done ever since that Doritos segment. Can I get some F's in chat for Kaylee's career?
It's Keeley, not Kaylee, Alf. But thanks. Summer Game Fest tech correspondent, Alf. Thanks for joining us, Alf. We'll see you a little later. Right now, though, we have a special announcement about something coming new to Smite. Check it out.
This world is in trouble.
We can't let this happen. They need our help.
Coming up next is Day of the Devs, but I understand, Alf, you wanted to come back on the stream already.
Since I have to stream for 24 hours on Twitch to become a partner, I might as well burn a few more minutes now.
Okay, what did you have in mind, Alf?
I want to talk to you about your fancy game consoles, because on Melmac, we were far more advanced in gaming technology. When I attended Reform School, I majored in software development, where I created what you Earthlings called Hatsune Miku. And no, it's not a sake.
Alf, we've got Day of the Devs coming up. Could you cut to the chase?
So I have to admit, I was a little confused last week when I was watching the PlayStation 5 stream and I saw everybody oohing and eyeing about all those fancy graphics. All right, now don't get me wrong. The cat in Stray looked very nice. So realistic, I could almost smell the barbecue sauce. You guys might think Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo 7 look great. Ha! Ha! On Melmac, our cave paintings had more pixels. And in our version of Grand Theft Auto, you actually did real time. Yeah. So I still have 3 stars above my head in the Andromeda Galaxy, just to let you know. I hope you guys keep improving your games, and one day, when the fur technology is good enough, maybe I will finally make my triumphant return to video games. Now, if you have any ideas, my DMs are always open, at least as soon as my account is unsuspended. Now it's time for the Day of the Devs Developer Showcase, looking at a series of inspiring new independent games. Enjoy the show and the rest of Summer Game Fest.
All right, I'm recording the audio.
What are these spider webs on here?
Well, they're dead spider webs. And then I'm starting the video. So I'm starting the video, so you don't start the video.
These might be good.
Saying this at me so I can do the clap. Okay? Got me, man? Ready? Okay, now don't press start. Just wait for me to go here. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, action. Oh, hello there. You caught me airing out my skulls. I need to have them all ready for the big Day of the Devs Summer Games Fest. We're going to be showing a lot of cool games today, and you need the skulls to be at optimum performance. All right, I think we're set. This is a child's skull. Hello and welcome to the Day of the Devs Summer Game Fest Showcase. We're going to be showing you some great indie games today and letting you meet the developers. Day of the Devs is a show we've been doing in San Francisco for many years now, and this is a special summer edition coming right into your quarantined home for your safety. Before we get started with this show, we're going to take a look at the work of a group called Gameheads in Oakland, who we've been showcasing at Day of the Devs for a few years, and they do fantastic work, so check them out and think about donating.
Hey everybody, this is Damon Packwood. I am the executive director and co-founder of Gameheads. So Gameheads provides tech training to low-income students of color ages 15 through 25. We teach game design, development, and DevOps, but most importantly, we are committed to creating the next generation of diverse video game developers. We're trying to change the game, quite literally. So today we want to show off some games that we're very proud of. The first up is Serpent Showdown. Serpent Showdown is a lighthearted 3D arena fighting game. It's created by a group called Persuasion Games. They're headquartered at USC. The team comes from a diverse range of backgrounds and life experiences. We're very proud that 3 of our students are on this team. Next up is Trigger. Trigger is a bullet hell mixed with a color matching game that incorporates an 80s inspired aesthetic arcade console experience. This was developed by one of our students, Joseph Hooker. It's an excellent game, plays really well, looks really dope, and it's obviously a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for that one.
Out of here!
great soundtrack, some really funny voiceover. It's created by an all-black male team. Shout out to Tiati Suarez, Jovan Smith, Xavier Ward, Yaku Herring, and Tabari Davis.
Out of here!
So that's it for me. Be on the lookout for more information on these projects on our social media or on the social media accounts for the projects. Also be on the lookout for our showcase coming up in August. We should be announcing that in the next couple of weeks. Finally, if you're interested in getting involved in the program as a mentor or as a student, you should find more information on that on our website. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye.
You're going to want to turn up the volume for this next one. It's from a developer called Beethoven and Dinosaur out of Melbourne in Annapurna Interactive, and it's just plain badass. It was created by a real-life rock star with a penchant for studded jackets named Johnny Galvatron. It's epic, it's personal, it's just so fucking cool. Seriously, turn up the volume. You will not regret it.
My name's Johnny Galvatron from Beethoven and Dinosaur, and right now we're going to show you the video game that we've been jamming on. It's about a teenage guitar prodigy who embarks on a journey to craft his stage persona. It's called The Artful Escape. Stuff gets pretty far out, but our story begins on Earth there's a squirrel. In Calypso, Colorado, where Francis Vendetti is on the eve of his first live performance. Francis is the nephew of legendary folk icon Johnson Vendetti, who's kind of like this universe's Bob Dylan. In these opening chapters of the game, we're introduced to Francis's hometown, the staggering legacy of his uncle's fame, and the impossible expectations of his fans. Many of the townspeople have opinions, even memories, of Johnson Vendetti, and they'll offer you advice, history, and ill omens. It's here, exploring Calypso, that Francis begins to suspect that things are not as they seem. Now it gets cosmic pretty quickly for Francis in the pursuit of his new stage persona, and we join him in the world of Glimmerdim, searching for a jazz club that never appears in the same place twice. Out in the cosmic extraordinary, Francis can jam on his guitar at any time, using it to hover through the air, knee slide down slopes, and interact with a musical world. The different dimensions of the Artful Escape are alive with creatures and foliage that will harmonize with your guitar. We wanted the shredding of the game to feel powerful and effortless, the same way some games depict a mastery of combat. Francis uses a musical language to communicate with the interfaces and creatures along his adventures, sometimes with jazz club owners like this, and sometimes with staggering cosmic wild things. You can customize many aspects of Francis's persona, including his stage name, what planet he's from, discuss your backstory, and of course, change your stage costume. The Artful Escape is a loving mishmash of rock operas and adventure games and guitar solos. It's been a journey to create, and we can't wait for the final act. Thanks so much for watching. That's all we've got right now. Except for this.
So we've been curating Day of the Devs for 8 years now, and it's been amazing to see the growth of the indie scene since then. And I think you'll see that here with this next game from Frozen Byte, Starbase, and it's like an amazing, huge, gigantic game. And I think you'll be very impressed.
Hello, I'm Pip.
And I'm Kai.
And we're from Frozen Byte and have been working on Starbase.
Starbase is our upcoming space MMO, set in a universe of vast scale, where everything is fully destructible.
In Starbase, the players can use their own creativity to design and build their own spaceships, stations, factories, and more. Since the smallest building unit is a single bolt, even the small ships are made of thousands of parts, each with their own detailed damage model, which makes building, designing, and repairing a truly creative process.
It's based on a hybrid of voxel and vertex technology, which allows the players the ultimate freedom to both create and destroy in ways where every single tiny detail matters.
However, damaged ship controls don't necessarily mean that the journey is over. If reconnecting pipes and cables won't solve your flight issues, you can manually adjust the thruster and generator values in the engine room and continue on with your journey.
Since Starbase is an MMO, player interactions play a big part of the game's experience. You can build and design ships together, sell your designs to others, go on a mining trip, or attack somebody else's ship and steal their cargo. You can form factions, build huge capital stations, and engage in massive fleet battles and try to conquer the universe together.
The Starbase universe is infinitely expanding, and players can venture out to discover stations, asteroid fields, wreckages from previous battles, and they might encounter fellow travelers, or even unknown dangers. You can even try your luck at being the first one to reach one of the faraway moons. Starbase will be coming out on Steam Early Access later this year. If you're interested in following the development progress or trying out the game in its closed alpha stage, join our Discord server at discord.gg/starbase, and don't forget to wishlist the game on Steam.
This next one is a collision of so many familiar trappings done oh so well. It's a retro-modern genre visual mashup. It's from Big Blue Bubble out of Ontario. It just features some of the coolest, most beautiful sprite animation you've seen in a while, especially that boss battle you're about to see. Ugh, it's awesome.
I'm Neha from Big Blue Bubble, and we made Foregone. Foregone is a fast and fluid 2D action platformer packed with loot and a retro pixel art feel. In Foregone, you'll slice your way through hordes of enemies and collect an arsenal of powerful weapons, all while unraveling the mysteries of the entity known as the Herald.
Caligan's first king, back when it was still a kingdom.
Foregone has been a passion project here at the studio for the last few years. After making mobile games for the better part of a decade, we wanted to make something that reminded us of classic games we grew up playing. We took cues from innovative games like Dead Cells to create a modern take on classic pixel platformers by using 3D animation to create a 2D experience that feels great to play. Inspired by classic games such as Prince of Persia and Castlevania, we wanted Foregone to be a handcrafted adventure that players would progress through while unraveling a compelling story. We were also inspired by games like Diablo, where your character progresses through the game by discovering rare loot that helps you defeat mobs of enemies across the world. Early access on the Epic Games Store, we've focused on expanding the scope of Foregone, most recently with our June update, which introduces an all-new biome, the Creepy Catacombs, filled with new hordes of enemies and 2 new boss encounters. It's been great watching the world of Foregone evolve during this time, and I'm excited for people to see what else we have in store as we lead up to our launch on Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox this October. We hope you guys enjoy the game.
Next up is a psychedelic, furious, art-driven platformer, which is a real meeting of minds from art to code to music. It's real fun to stare at the melty, trippy graphics of this game. Allow me to introduce you to Spinch.
Hi, my name is Jesse Jacobs, and I'm the creator of Spinch in partnership with Queen Bee Games. Spinch is a psychedelic platformer game based on my artwork. You play as a Spinch, and you're on a mission to collect your missing babies. Because it may seem cool, but Spinch babies are used as ammo against the bosses. In this age of mass production, art plays a very valuable role, and Spinch was created to reflect these values.
Hey, I'm James Kirkpatrick. I made all the songs and the action sounds for the game Spinch. I used a modified Game Boy, some circuit band toys, and some instruments I made myself.
Next up is Inglet from Nifless. They've been making games for over a decade, like Knit, and they made this beautiful audiovisual soundscape that is a platformer with no platforms.
Hi, I'm Simon Stålhanske, and I'm the colleague of Nifless, who's the sole developer on Inglet. Nifless is known for working on games such as Knut Underground, Ernog, and Affordable Space Adventures. Both of us are from the small Copenhagen-based studio Triple Topping Games in Denmark. In Inglet, you jump between bubbles that float in the sky like you're a space dolphin. And all the while you melt into a highly reactive and dynamic soundtrack created by Inglet's custom and needlessly complicated music software. Inglet is a platformer with absolutely no platforms. If you aren't resting in a bubble for a moment, you'll be doing acrobatic dashing, bouncing, and rail riding to keep from plunging into the void. Difficulty is fluid in Inglet. With the granular difficulty settings, you can find the level of challenge that suits you. Inglet has dynamic save points. You decide whether to stop, take a little break and set a respawn point, or whether to blast daringly through the level, putting everything on the line. Inglet has Copenhagen blood in its veins. Each level in Inglet is based on a location in the capital of Denmark, where our studio is also based. And in each level, you'll need to find one of your little friends and help them get home. Inglet also has lightning storms, lots of achievables, an upside down world, extra mini levels, and lots of railroad tracks. A non-platformer to look forward to if you really like platformer games.
Our next game is called Skate Story, and I know what you're thinking. EA Motive just announced the sequel to Skate, but Skate Story is not like that, except it has the same reverence for real-world skateboarding, but it gets weird. It gets real weird. You'll see what I mean.
Hi, I'm Sam May. I'm a game developer here in New York City, and I'm making Skate Story.
Skate Story is a game about skating down into the underworld. You play as a glass skater trying to reach the center of the underworld. The world of Skate Story is filled with beautiful architecture that sprawls out in every direction. There are 9 layers underneath New York City, each of them governed by a sentient moon. You'll meet weird characters like hooded demons or rusty frogs, and you'll talk to the moons in the sky. I'm trying to show skateboarding in a different sort of light. I want to skate across beautiful, otherworldly structures and kickflip over a forgotten god's statued head. I grew up playing a lot of the classic skateboarding games, like Tony Hawk, riding around the warehouse in the school for hours, or Skate, or Ollie Ollie, or even new indies such as Session or Skater XL. The control scheme of Skate Story is a weird mix between all of my favorite skate games.
In Skate Story, you have to shift your weight before you do tricks. So, for example, in real life, to do a kickflip, you have to kind of position your foot over here before you flick the board to do a kickflip. So, I hope that in Skate Story, you actually see how it mirrors real life skateboarding. I'm still working on the game, and hopefully you like what you see. Thanks for watching.
All right, next up is a game that exploded on Kickstarter recently called Black Book, a deck-building adventure game set in kind of a Slavic folk horror setting. Looks terrifying.
Hello, I'm Vladimir Beletsky from Martyoshka, the studio behind Black Book. Black Book is a story of a young witch who just recently received her knowledge of dark arts. With her, you will travel across mythical, authentic landscape of 19th century Eastern Europe and encounter mythical creatures, some of them friendly, while others not so much. The game is built around true Slavic folklore short stories called Belichki in the native tongue. In these stories, people tell about allegedly true meetings with spirits and demons. These stories, along with the real region of Cherden, inspired us to create a setting where people coexist and sometimes even meet with otherworldly beings, some of which were never before referenced in popular culture. At its core, Black Book is a deck-building RPG similar to Slay the Spire and mixed with old-school adventure games. We took extra care to make sure that the core gameplay supports our narrative, and the narrative itself is as authentic as possible. Belichki has their own structure, has their own goals, and we try to convey that in our game. We feel that the unique Slavic setting and its lore have great promise when it comes to world building. We even went as far as to employ the help of professional ethnographers and folklorists to help us build an in-game encyclopedia and Belichka's adaptations. The genre of Belichki, as well as Russian folklore in general, are underrepresented in popular media. You can build your own deck of spells, encounter mythical creatures, and you will reveal all the mysteries of the Black Book. For us, Black Book is both a game and a cultural statement. We hope to show that niche folklore from all over the world can inspire, bring suspense and emotions to gamers even today.
This next game is all about teaming up with your friends to defend a village of vegetable pals from being eaten by wee beasties from the outside. It's made by the Molasses Flood, who are really good friends of ours at Double Fine and actually helped us out a lot with Psychonauts 2 in the early days. This is Drake Hollow.
Hey, my name's Forrest Dowling and I am the creative director on Drake Hollow, and this is Lou, who will not stop pestering me because she hears me talking. So she gets to sit in my lap for this. Drake Hollow is being made by the Molasses Flood, a company I co-founded a number of years ago, and we're best known for The Flame and the Flood, which was, our only title thus far. But I'm here today to talk about Drake Hollow.
Everyone's right here.
Nice.
All right.
Oh,
who got the chest? Oh, who's getting it?
Oh, it's me. Ooh. Blunderbuss.
We call it an adventure action village building game. So I think today I'm going to head to the southeast. Gonna go try and find that lighthouse. When we started working on this, we had previously worked on a pretty hardcore survival game, and what I wanted to try is just making a game that explored a lot of the same ideas, but it wasn't so much about you surviving as it is about you taking care of something and helping it survive. It's a game about taking care of things, and that's where the concept of the Drakes came about. They're sort of the heart of the game. They're these kind of charming little vegetable goblin creatures that are kind of dopes. Like, they need your help. They need you to build them places to sleep and provide food to eat and entertainment for them.
Seems like our Drakes could use a little more entertainment. Let's see what I can build them.
Straight to the disco floor.
Of course.
Your favorite. It's your masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are you gonna dance? Aw, yeah.
So your job is to do all those things and to take care of them, and you can bring along your friends for help as well. So if you want to play co-op, you certainly can. And it's a really big part of the game. It's something that's been one of the pillars since we conceived it.
Alright, Tesla coils, do your thing.
Side, little buddy.
Oh. Maybe I should... Oh no, I'm out of decoys. That's true. That's fair. I'd be scared too. Oh no! We can revive you. Right in the middle of combat. There you go!
Thanks, what a favor. I just got juggled. That's it, I'm out of here.
Hey! Look at that! What's up?
Oh yeah, he did go after the decoys.
There's exploration, there's building, there's rescuing drakes, and there's battling monsters. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's not.
Retro throwback games are all the rage, but they are hard to nail. 8-bit, 16-bit era stuff, not all developers know how to do it right. But there's one in particular that we've been showing since the very beginning of Day of the Devs 8 years ago. Their name is Tribute Games, and they're out of Montreal. And fun fact, the core creatives that made the Scott Pilgrim game in-house at Ubisoft broke away and founded Tribute. Here's their latest retro opus.
Hey everyone, my name is Frédéric Gemus, and I work as a designer at Tribute Games, and today I'm here to present you our latest game, Panzer Paladin. Massive weapons are raining down from the skies, releasing hordes of demons, and it is your job to travel the world and stop them from invading the planet. Today, we are visiting Egypt, where we'll be fighting Anubis, the weapon keeper of the region. Oh, and as you noticed, the game is boasting some pretty rad pixel art visuals for maximum nostalgia triggering goodness. In Panzer Paladin, you play as Grit, a giant power armor equipped with the latest technology. Grit is able to fight the demons by using their own weapons against them. As you fight your way through the game, you'll discover hundreds of different melee weapons. Each weapons fall into a different melee category, like cut or impact, making them more effective against different types of enemies. Each weapon is also imbued with different stats and spells. By breaking the weapon, you'll cast its spell. In that case, a sweet healing spell. As for weapon attacks, well, you can use them to do downward stabs and bounce on enemies, or do a rising attack, which acts as a double jump. Or you can simply throw them at enemies' face to deal massive damage. But watch out, weapons do wear down. Keep an eye out for your weapon's durability. See, my weapon broke, but no worries. There are plenty of weapons to collect all around the game. Throwing weapons at enemies or breaking them to cast powerful spells is part of what makes Panzer Paladin so much fun. But perhaps your greatest weapon in the game might just be Flame, the squire that pilots the Paladin from the inside. She can eject to sneak into tight spaces, or to recharge the power armor when it's low on energy using those tanks. She can swing from rings with her laser whip, or use it to strike demons as well. But, as you can see, she can't pick up the demonic weapon, as only Grit can do so. Flame can eject at any time, and you could even play the whole game as her if you'd like. You can sacrifice a weapon at these pedestals to create a checkpoint. Checkpoints are well worth it, mainly when you encounter creatures like this one. This is the Horseman. If you hoard too many spirit weapons, the mythical creature will come to fight you. A perfectly timed block, followed by an attack, will open up any enemy's defense and create a parry. You can also use the backdash, a lightning quick move that will dodge almost any attacks, especially those unblockable energy attacks. The Horseman is a powerful enemy that you'll encounter multiple times in the game, truly challenging your swordplay skills as you progress. And by defeating the Horseman, you will be rewarded with the mysterious weapon from the Blacksmith, a weapon created by the community. With the Blacksmith, you can forge anything you want. You simply need to draw the pixel art using our simple-to-use tool, name your creation, and allocate the points to the different parameters in spell. Once saved, your friends, family, and the whole Panzer Paladin community will have access to your pixel-crafted armory. Set or slice a world record in the speedrun mode. Replay all levels and try to beat your friend's time, the community's best, or just your own. Find shortcuts, maximize combat techniques, and discover new ways to save time. Earn medals and place your name high up on the leaderboards. Panzer Paladin is packed with 17 carefully crafted levels, each with a unique boss, protecting a powerful weapon for you to seize. By completing your first run of the game, you'll unlock the Remix mode, where you can access alternative versions of all of the levels, upping the difficulty and doubling the fun. Yup, that's a whole lot of side-scrolling action. The game is set to release this summer for Steam and Nintendo Switch, so keep an eye out for tribute games on all of the major social networks, and add the game to your Steam wishlist. Hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and stay safe everyone.
No, your stream is not broken for this next one. It's definitely in black and white. There's not a lot you can say about this game. It's super unique, it sounds awesome, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. And it's from a developer named Games for Ghosts, which is a name that will make sense in about 3 seconds.
Hey, this is Jean Davet from Games for Ghosts, and I'm happy to present our work in progress computer game, Haunted Garage. Haunted Garage has been in the making on and off since about 2018 and is created by myself and Richard Peterson. I handle the artwork, sound and creative direction, and Richard makes it all function and magically come together on the programming and technical side. Haunted Garage has taken many forms in its evolution over the years, and what started out as curious experiments with drawings and sounds has turned into a music production adventure game. Taking inspiration from games such as Myst, King's Quest, Plug and Play to Samrost 3, Richard and I eventually decided to put all our experiments under one roof, interconnect all these disparate audio-visual toys that allow you to create an evolving musical loop. So is this a spooky game? Well, not really. It's haunted in the sense that you're not exactly sure who's in control or what the state of reality or context is. And Garage as in a place where dreams are realized. Not to mention band practice. You're also creating your own evolving soundtrack to this strange little pixel adventure game, where you explore and discover new instruments and artifacts to add to your collection. This game is definitely about making music, but it's also about puzzling over and manipulating these little contraptions we've designed to have limited functionality, but many variables and combinations. Haunted Garage aims to allow players to have a comfortable, creative experience. Unlike traditional digital audio workstations that can overwhelm beginners easily, the instruments in Haunted Garage provide you with a fun and non-intimidating environment to become acquainted with musical concepts, while also providing enough room for more experienced musicians to flex their creative skills within the limitations. So far we have only really scratched the surface in terms of what we want to make possible. We have a substantial amount of devices, artifacts, and interactive vignettes that have already been designed and waiting to be implemented. Besides Adventure Mode, we plan to introduce other game modes that will allow players to construct and capture their own full songs and packaged releases. Haunted Garage version 1 is by no means a finished product, and many corners still need to be ironed out. But what we have achieved thus far is the groundwork for what we see as an exciting new adventure gaming experience. Whether it's just about going along for the ride and adventuring, or spending hours mastering your skills and crafting your perfect little jingle and sharing it with your friend.
Next up is the Eternal Cylinder from Ace Team in Chile. They've been making games for a long time, all the way back to Xenoclash, and they have a very unique personal house style I think you'll see reflected here, and it's a bonkers game.
Hello, I'm Carlos Bordeo from the studio Ace Team, the people who made Rock of Ages and Xenoclash, and I'm here to talk to you about the Eternal Cylinder, our upcoming game. It's an adventure survival game, but very different to anything out there on the market. You play as these little creatures called the Trebon. They're like a family of creatures who are born in this very surreal and alien world. The main obstacle, the main thing about the game is that it has this huge cylinder which is crushing the entire world, destroying it. You have to keep on moving forward and discovering about your family, your race, what's going on the world, where does the cylinder come from.
This time, the discovery of a new statue and the knowledge it granted was not a surprise, but a welcome sign that there was someone waiting for the Trebon. As soon as they completed the trials, of course, as was only appropriate. It's definitely a big game and an ambitious title for Ace Team. We really want people to explore this world and looking forward to completing the project.
You've probably heard of Flow, Flower, maybe even Journey. They're called That Game Company, and their latest project has been an ongoing social experience experiment that's gathered the attention of a lot of players. It's altruistic, it's compassionate, it's exactly the kind of hopeful gameplay experience that we all could use a little bit of right about now. And they've got an exclusive first look at something they've been planning for a while, just for Day of the Devs.
We are honored to be part of the Day of the Devs and Summer Game Fest. Like you, we're excited to see what indie creators and studios have been up to. It is always a great source of inspiration and a mid-year recharge for the hardworking indie developers. We're so proud to see the fast-growing indie community and filled with gratefulness from the amazing players worldwide who have been supporting us over the years. As Sky approaches 1 year anniversary, we'll launch a new season, which comes with new stories, characters, and most importantly, a relaxing vacation that we all miss. Leading up to Sky's first birthday, we'll announce more surprises. Until then, please enjoy this teaser. Season of Sanctuary. Thank you.
It's no secret that the team at Double Fine loves a really good point-and-click adventure, and this one from Whalestalk Interactive looks like a really cool expression of the genre. It's moody, it's woodsy, it's spooky, and it's really beautifully animated. This is The Night is Grey.
Hey there, hope everyone is doing okay. My name is André Broa and I'm the creative director at Whalestalk Interactive. I'd like to show you The Night is Grey. In this cinematic thriller, you play as Graham, who is being followed by strange wolves in the woods, until he finds a cabin with a little girl abandoned by her mother. You suspect the worst has happened, and now you are responsible for the child's survival in a strange night that keeps getting stranger. We tried for a somewhat surreal and creepy David Lynchian atmosphere. Besides being a lovable character, Anna is also part of a game mechanic. As you explore scenarios and solve different puzzles with her help, you have to switch from playing on your own to carrying her around. Like any adventure game, you have to solve puzzles to progress. No pixel hunting, we promise. We are trying to reach the sweet spot between frustration and accomplishment by changing up the pace.
Day of the Devs gives us a chance to highlight really personal stories from developers who have a unique point of view. And this title from Superhot and Australian developer Andrew Brophy really is a good example of that. It's super weird. Welcome to the messed up future of Knuckle Sandwich.
Hello, my name is Andrew Brophy. I'm a game designer from Melbourne, Australia. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to show you what I'm currently working on. It's a video game called Knuckle Sandwich. I would describe it as a personal game, hiding inside an offbeat, turn-based RPG. It's set on a fictional island off the southeast coast of Australia, where players will find themselves assuming control of a young man who moves to the island and gets wrapped up in the lives of all the people that live there. Along the way, you'll have run-ins with the dangerous gang, a fanatical cult, and a heap of other island residents. As I mentioned earlier, Knuckle Sandwich features turn-based battles. They function pretty much exactly how you would expect, except all special abilities are replaced with a huge variety of minigames. Anyway, that's Knuckle Sandwich in a nutshell. I hope you dig it. Thanks.
This is a really exciting one to end on. Nice final beat here. Sea of Stars from Sabotage, the creators of The Messenger. Fans of Chrono Trigger will be very excited about this one. And if you haven't seen this on Kickstarter, you should check it out because they've been sharing a lot of really awesome behind-the-scenes footage.
Hey everyone, my name is Thierry Boulanger. I'm a creative director and co-founder at Sabotage Studio in Quebec City, Canada. About 3 months ago, we revealed our next game through a Kickstarter campaign, and we were blown away by the response. Our new game is called Sea of Stars. It's a turn-based RPG inspired by the retro classics. And so much has happened since then. Even though it's only been 3 months, we had Yasunori Mitsuda, the Chrono Trigger's composer, who joined the team as a guest composer. And also we're working on a playable demo, which is coming out just next month for backers. And we were also invited by Summer Game Fest to celebrate with them by putting something together. So we were delighted by the opportunity to work on an updated trailer to show some of the polished up animation we've been doing, and also give a bit more screen time to a character that some people felt endearing and wanted to see more of. And so, you know, with everything going on in the world, it seems our duty as entertainers finds new purpose. And so we sincerely hope that you will find enjoyment in this fresh look at Sea of Stars. Stay safe, everyone.
We tricked you. We have one more surprise. It's a world exclusive, and it's from the creator of Pinout and Smash Hit. These are games that have literally been downloaded hundreds of millions of times. This is the creator's first console title, and it is trippy as hell.
That's it for this installment of Day of the Devs, but we'll be back in July with another Summer Game Fest Developer Showcase.
If you're looking to have your game featured in the next Day of the Devs, we'll be having an open call for submissions for the July showcase.
So keep your eyes on dayofthedevs.com for submissions opening soon.
Thank you, as always, to the generous support of our partners for making all of this possible. PlayStation, Idea Xbox, Nintendo, Epic Games Store, Steam. It takes a village of humans to make a digital event of this caliber happen, so thank you for all your support. And special thanks to Dose One, rapper, poet, composer, for lending his sounds to our soundtrack for today's broadcast. His music is dope, check it out. But stay tuned. Summer Game Fest Developer Showcase is not over yet. We've still got some surprises in store.
And thanks to you for watching, and thanks for all the developers around the world who submitted games. Bye. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Skulls. Okay, let's hope that recorded. Oh, I didn't clap.
Well, just take a video when you clap, man.
Well, no, it has to be in that stream. Did you stop yours?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you very much.
What's good, world? It's another Day of the Devs production. Everything you're hearing tonight is from Sludge Light. Thank you. I'm Dose. This has been another Day of the Devs production. I am 8-Bit in the house. These are the solemn sounds of Sludge Light. But more important than any of this shit is that Black Lives Matter.